Morning, everyone. It's so nice to see all of you gathered together for such important conversations. I appreciate the time that Kogod has given me here to talk a little bit about something we collaborated on. This year's Sign Institute of Policy and Politics annual youth poll, conducted in partnership with Kogod School of Business, explored how young Americans are thinking about the futures in time of rapid technological change. Our survey focused on higher education, civic discourse, and most notably the rise of artificial intelligence and its impact on how generations learn, work, and make decisions. First, just briefly about the poll, we surveyed 1,214 young adults ages 18 to 34 from across the United States. Conducted by Generation Lab, known for capturing the perspectives of young Americans on major cultural and policy issues. We were actually guided by an advisory group of 11 American University graduate and undergraduate students from across disciplines who helped write the instrument, analyze the instrument, and also helped us to promote. And also, this was in collaboration with the Close Up Foundation that works on civic education with young high school individuals, Future Caucus, that's 35 and younger, nonpartisan elected officials across the country. And as I mentioned, Kogod. And a huge thank you to Molly O'Rourke from the School of Communications, who is our senior advisor. She unfortunately is not with me because whenever I get a deep data question, which I see here, there's so many people here would ask, she's the one who answers them. But she's also available if you want to go a little deeper into that. I'm going to go quickly through the data, but this is also all available on our website, and I'm excited to say that we're also on Monday at our Solutions Summit at the Washington College of Law day-long conference. We're going to have panels specifically on this poll, and Kogod will be joining us for a panel in the afternoon to talk more about AI, the work they're doing in these questions. But let's start with a key insight. Nearly 3 in 4 young Americans agree that it's important for students to receive responsible AI training. This shows a clear awareness that AI will be central to their careers and daily lives. Young people understand the stakes. They don't just want to use AI, they want to use it responsibly and effectively. However, there's a big disconnect. Despite recognizing how vital AI literacy is, most young Americans say they are not receiving any formal training in high school. This gap between expectation and reality suggests that our education system hasn't caught up with the pace of technological change. As you can see, this goes also across age groups, college and non-college educated, which was all a part of the survey. The data also shows a clear solution. Students want more qualified instructors who can teach AI at the college level. They're not just calling for more AI content, but for teachers who are well-trained and confident in guiding them through these complex technologies responsibly. That was a major part of the work that we saw. We also saw that when it comes to actual use, most young Americans say they're not using AI regularly, at least not yet. This points to an emerging but uneven adoption curve. So AR tools are becoming more common, but everyday integration is still developing. That said, AI usage isn't uniform, as you can imagine. It varies by education level, access, and interest. Some students are already experimenting with AI daily for learning, content creation, and coding, while others haven't found yet a way to incorporate it into their routines. Another major theme is certainly apprehension. Even as they recognize the potential benefits, young Americans are uneasy about what AI can mean for privacy, misinformation, and the future of work. So this shows that optimism and anxiety coexist in equal measure as we're talking about these issues and looking about how they are going to come to fruition in the classroom. And the worry goes far beyond just jobs. Many are concerned about bias, surveillance, and loss of creativity. They're thinking broadly about how AI will shape society, not just the economy. So this opens so many possibilities to have these conversations, both in the classroom here at AU and in the experiential learning that so many of us are working on and doing.
Amy, can you just, you're one slide ahead.
Oh, I am? I'm sorry.
There you go. You're good.
Okay, thank you for trying, as you can see. I didn't really use AI to help me prepare, so maybe that's the problem. So young Americans have a range of concerns, about the impact also on the job market as well. Their worries go beyond that job, and it's many are concerned about these, biases, the loss of creativity. So how are they going to shape society, not just the economy? So again, when we saw this as something that is actually important not only in the business school, but in the law school, in the arts and sciences, all across campus. So that was important, certainly as well. And then, interestingly, more than half believe AI will actually limit their career options. This indicates a fear that automation and machine learning could replace or devalue human skills in the job market. It also opens up doors to help try and show the possibilities, to also help them have a skill set as they leave higher education to be competitive in this changing and evolving job market as well. Finally, attitudes toward AI correlate strongly with usage. So those who haven't engaged with AI tend to be, of course, as you would expect, the most pessimistic, while regular users are more optimistic about its impact. This suggests that experience and understanding can shift the perception in a positive direction. So overall, these findings highlight both an opportunity and certainly a responsibility. Young people are ready to learn, but institutions must step up. And so providing quality AI education, ensuring responsible practices, and preparing the next generation to lead in an AI-driven world was a part of the data that we saw. Now, I will say it was wonderful to partner with Kogod on this. We actually got this an exclusive in Axios, and we're talking to a lot of reporters that are looking at this to highlight and certainly elevate the work that Kogod's doing, but also this recognition that we want to share with our colleagues across. There's more data also in the poll. I encourage you to go to the website, as we did look at civic dialogue. We also looked at how their perceptions on higher education and as far as value and accessibility. And as I mentioned, on Monday, we're going to be going into deeper dives on this as well. So sorry for the little glitch, but as I said, this is all available on the website. Molly continues to be a partner with us if you have interest in going deeper into the data. I can't thank you enough for giving us a minute today to share this information, and hope that this can be the catalyst to kind of have those conversations. And we see the great work that's already happening here across campus, but how we can invest in different ways in the future. So thank you very much. Here we go.
Just a quick question. Is the data available or just the analysis?
The top lines are available, and also the full deck is available. And then if you're interested in the crosstabs and whatnot, we can work together. So
The data itself, not the crosstabs.
the data is available, yes. Everything's on the website, and if you have further questions, certainly Molly can do that. But the top lines are available, and then there's the full deck that goes through each one of the questions. So.
Thank you so much. I hope you take this question in the spirit in which it's intended, which is to engage. I've seen data, and I'm sure many people here have, that using AI reduces students' critical capacity for critical thinking. So perhaps it's not a surprise that the majority of people who use AI like it. Perhaps their critical thinking skills have been diminished in some way.
No,
Can you please answer that concern?
That's a really good part, and I think if you look at the holistic poll, which was very interesting, because one of the questions we asked is, what is the role of higher education? And young people thought that critical thinking was a very important part of that. Sorry, it's okay. I'm loud. I don't know. That critical thinking was a very important part of that. They also thought that was in combination with job skills, technology assistance. So I do think that we took these snapshot of questions out specifically about AI, but I encourage you to look at that, because it was interesting to see these 18 to 34-year-olds still think that critical thinking is a really important part about their education and investment. So I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad I had an answer.
thank you so much for the presentation. I do appreciate that, because it seems like we looked at the young people, right? And you made a point about the institutions must also be ready. Do you have any data, and I don't know if this has come out yet, in terms of why don't institutions embrace this more in terms of teaching our young people how to use AI? Because I'm just based on my own analysis, looking back and what I've heard and seen anecdotal evidence, why aren't they doing it? What's the hesitation? It seems like there's maybe a whole slew of things that may be the reasons why, but why?
I think it's a really good question. I don't think it's something that I can ask directly because I'm not always in those rooms in that conversation. But I want to say that the reason the Sign Institute, and this is the 4th year, we ask 18 to 34-year-olds. Some of the other topics that we've covered are reimagining the American dream. What do young people think about political leadership? Our very first one was, what do young people think about institutions and government? What we saw was a lack of going directly to young people and asking them their impressions on these things. And I think when you have data about what young people think, we get this to policymakers, we get this to different think tanks and others who are looking at building policy, because sometimes the policy doesn't match up with what young people are wanting or needing. So we're hoping in some way to bring this information to those that have to think about how young people are thinking about the future. We'll be doing another one next year that kind of is wrapped around the 250 theme too, to think about what are the next several decades and what their impressions are. So that is our hope and goal, and why we get this far and wide, is that so some people will see what this cohort of individuals are thinking, and hopefully they're building policy, they're building conversations, they're building program that responds to those needs, wants, and interests.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation.